It's nearly the end of the year, and that means it's time to take a step back and reflect on 2020. Wait, no one really wants to do that. It's been a horrible year on many different levels. So instead of focusing on the bad this year, Jason Perlow and I are going to focus on our favorite gadgets that have been released over the last 12 months on this episode of Jason Squared. I'm Jason Cipriani with Jason Perlow. All right, Jason, where do we start?
Look, let's get the big one out of the way.
Yeah.
Smartphones,
man, it's been a year of smartphones. It's been a year of 5G, 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 5G.
5G.
Yeah, so we have a late entry into the list, or the competitors, I guess you should say, and that's Apple's iPhone 12 lineup. I've been using the iPhone 12 Pro. I think you have access to an iPhone 12 or a 12 Pro as well, and for my money, it definitely takes the cake. The camera is great. The display is superb. You know, just the camera upgrades alone on the 12 Pro, for me, really make it the winner out of all of this. The HDR, recording in video. I shot some video. It's a little alley here in town. It's called Neon Alley. And it's this old... all these old neon signs throughout this alley that light up for old restaurants and businesses.
Oh, that's
that
really cool.
Closed down in the area. And I shot some Dolby Vision HDR video there last night, and it was... I didn't have to do anything, and it looks incredible. So for me personally, it's the iPhone 12 Pro. I think the Pro Max might edge it out camera-wise, but I think value-wise, at $999 is a value, I guess. I think the winner for me is clear-cut iPhone 12 Pro.
Look, Jason, I mean, they're all pretty much overpriced, period,
Yeah.
okay?
Yep.
With the exception of a few value-driven phones, which have any number of trade-offs. I'll agree with you that the iPhone 12, the regular iPhone 12, okay, is probably the best overall value this year for Apple. Although clearly the technical achievement on the Pro and the Pro Max is astounding, okay? They're so far ahead of whatever other manufacturer is doing. But at the same time, I agree with you. We've talked about Google this year. Pixel's definitely on the rebound. They had a bad 2019. I think, given that it's an annus horribilis all around, I think Pixel 5 is a really good phone. Now, I don't know I can give it the best Android phone. I think Google's best value right now is the 4A 5G or the regular 4A.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been kind of a murky year. Samsung's had some very expensive phones. They're good Android phones, but look, nobody's matching Apple in terms of the technology integration and everything and the innovation that they've done with their devices. It's like Apple is just like so far ahead of everybody that they might as well be. They're in the Star Trek universe and everybody else is in the 21st century. It's like it's that much different. A comparison in terms of where they are.
Yeah.
I think with tablets, though, we have a much easier time this year determining who wins, right?
Yeah, and it's another one that was released, right before we filmed this. I actually was able to spend some time with it before it was released. It's the new 2020 model iPad Air. And it's the first time they've completely redesigned the look of the iPad Air, and it looks more like an iPad Pro. They brought some of those Pro features down, but they kept the price down, in between the base model iPad, which is $329, and the iPad Pro line, which starts at $799. And this one, the iPad Air, starts at $599. So it's right in the middle of that. I don't agree with the 64 gigabytes of storage as the base model, so you'll pay a little bit more to update that. But look, it has USB-C. It has Apple Pencil second generation support. It works with the Magic Keyboard that has the trackpad. It does everything the Pro does, just not as prolific as the Pro, I guess you could say.
Right.
But when you look at Android tablets, you have the Galaxy Tab S7, S7 Plus. I really like the Tab S7 because of battery life. The S7 Plus did a little bit more as far as a larger screen and just it was a better overall experience.
Right.
Samsung's DeX integration, which when you're docked in their keyboard cover accessory, basically converts it to an Android Windows-like interface where you could have windowed apps, but developer support isn't there for it. And really, Samsung, outside of Amazon, is the only one making any type of Android tablet. And Amazon's tablets are Fire OS based on Android, which by the way, if you're looking for a really good deal to keep the kids entertained, or just something that you don't really care if it stops
Right.
working in a year and a half, Amazon's Fire Tablet HD8 is a great buy. Actually, the HD8 Plus, I think it starts at like $90. It's a good tablet.
Yeah. Look, Jason, the iPad Air is a really, really impressive device for the money. And I think it's the best tablet for virtually any consumer or business user that's looking for that higher end content consuming experience. It matches the iPad Pro in just about every single category in terms of processing power, display quality, with the notable exception of refresh rate, right? It doesn't have that ProMotion technology. But honestly, I think really only design professionals need that, and I don't think most people are going to make use of that for the extra $200 to $400 it costs for an iPad Pro, right? For if we're talking the same size dimensions, right? I really think as a company, Apple brought its A game this year, and they're really starting to look like an unbeatable force if you compare their product lineup to their competitors. And I think part of this is that, Apple as a company got so much money, I don't know, like $200 billion just in cash reserves, and so much money devoted to research. They are one of the very few that has been able to make it through this pandemic without having to make any kind of compromises in the products that they're releasing. And we really got to face it, their customers just wouldn't accept anything less from them as a company. Now, just about the only thing that they've allowed themselves, right, in terms of them not being able to fulfill their capabilities is their shipping and manufacturing delays. And they've spread their products over multiple launches and ordering windows, but I think overall, they're handling it pretty well.
Yep.
If they consciously left features out of products because of this pandemic, I think they've done a very good job of concealing it. There were a few other things they could have done this year. They could have migrated to USB-C on iPhone. They didn't do that. They did that on the iPad Air, okay, as kind of, I guess, as a baby step. And maybe, we would have liked to have seen to get Touch ID back as an authentication mechanism on the iPhone. But then, look, I think we're kind of nitpicking if we have to take them apart on those two things.
Yeah, I agree completely with you about, them, Apple, really stepping into this pandemic that shut down their manufacturing facilities for quite a while and put everyone in the industry as a whole behind. And Apple, they have the shipping delays and the product announcement delays, and they've been able to spread out their events. We're entering November this week, or this weekend, and we're almost, or we're going to have a third Apple event in the last 3 months. September, October, November, all will have an Apple event because they've been able to embrace what's going on, hold these virtual events, and announce products when they're ready instead of ahead of time forcing stuff.
We know something's amiss. I mean, we know that they've missed certain products. We know that certain products have not launched, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I've been screaming about Apple TV. We've been screaming about AirTags. These other things that we can clearly see that the man in the back of the curtain is pulling things and going crazy back there, just trying to keep things moving as smoothly as possible, right? And we know there's been hiccups. We know there have been bumps that they've hit, but they've handled them as best as they possibly can and have still released excellent products.
Yep.
While they've had to cope with that. So I gotta hand it to them. They've handled themselves extremely well, considering what's been going on.
Well said about the guy pulling the strings behind the curtains. So let's get back to gadgets. What do you think about for home networking, home Wi-Fi solutions?
So this is kind of a tough one this year, right? So for home networking, I'm gonna probably say it's Google Nest Wi-Fi in terms of setup and also performance. But the just released Eero Pro 6 by Amazon is a Wi-Fi 6 mesh networking device that also has Zigbee radios in it for your home automation. So, but no one's actually tested one of those things yet, right? I mean, you can order one now, but no one's actually reviewed one, right? So, I'm gonna have to give it to Nest, for now. There is a Netgear that's Wi-Fi 6, the Orbi, which is probably the fastest of any mesh setup that's currently out, that's been tested by CNET, our sister site. But it's also the most expensive solution at about $700 a pair. So yeah, for now it's Nest.
Yeah, so for me, for the last year, I don't know, whenever Nest Wi-Fi launched, that's what I had been using. I had 4 different nodes in my house, access points in my house. I think I've told the listeners before, I work in a detached garage from the house. It's about 80 feet away, and I have a pretty complicated networking setup to get internet out here. So it's required 4 nodes to cover everything. And it's worked great. I agree with you. If what I'm about to talk about hadn't launched, it probably would be my top pick as well. But for the last week, I've been testing. For part of that was under embargo, and now I think the embargo lifted yesterday. Linksys released a Wi-Fi 6 mesh network update to their Velop system, which is powered by Qualcomm's new networking processor that is supposed to do all these magical things. And in the last week, with 3 access points instead of 4, it's actually gone well past what Nest Wi-Fi could do. I recently upgraded to Comcast's gigabit connection, and I'm getting on an iPhone 12, which is a Wi-Fi 6 device. I'm getting around 900 megabytes down, which is just insane.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to start upgrading my access points. That's because the best I can do is like 600. So that's
Nest Wi-Fi capped out I think at 500, so I was lucky to get 200 or 300 down in testing.
802.11ac basically hit the limitations of what it can handle.
Yeah, but this Velop system is $500 for a 3-pack. It just launched, and it's amazing. Like I need to test more Wi-Fi 6 stuff. I want to test the Aero stuff. I want to test other products like that. But so I think as a whole, Wi-Fi 6 finally hitting mainstream. Where there's actual devices that are coming down in price, home network setups that are coming down in price, as well as devices that are getting in our hands, like the iPhone 12 that has Wi-Fi 6 built into it, where we're really going to start seeing it pay off, especially over the coming year. It's fulfilling the promise of 5G.
But meanwhile, like our little Chromecast things and whatever are still 802.11, 5G,
right.
5 gigahertz. So we're not getting multi-channel, So the stuff that could really take advantage of the streaming devices don't have those kind of radios in them yet.
Yeah, that's okay though. Baby steps. So, yeah, let's talk about best smartwatch. It's a hot topic. It's a hot product. Apple sells a ton of them. Fitbit, not so much. Google, where are you at on best smartwatch for 2020?
Look, I mean, I'm pretty much religiously dedicated to my Series 6, okay? Look, Apple's crushing it in like every single damn category. Look, if we could have just done a whole show on how Apple's products are the best in the entire industry. It's instead of going, cross competitor in this show, but we have a couple where we have maybe 1 or 2 things that Apple is not like the 100% best in the category, right? But for the most part, they pretty much crushed the entire spectrum of product categories. The Watch Series 6 is the best in category, without a doubt. And if I had to choose a runner-up, it's the Watch SE, right? Android was like a no-show this year with Watch OS.
Samsung did some impressive stuff. They have the Galaxy Watch Active 2, which was really good.
But that is not an Android device, is it? It's aren't they? They're using Tizen for their operating.
They are, but it gives Android users an option because it does work with regular Android handsets. For me, it's Gear 3, the Galaxy Samsung Gear 3,
which is a Tizen OS, not Android.
It is, but it's a great watch. I reviewed it.
It's an excellent watch.
And like I said, it gives Android users the option. For Apple, I'm with you. Apple Watch Series 6. I upgraded from the Series 5 to it, and it's a seamless experience. The blood oxygen stuff works real well. I love tracking my sleep. I've adopted a new charging habit, like I have talked about before, and it seems to work, just as it should, and it works out for me on a daily basis. All right, here, let me throw you another softball. Best wireless earbuds.
Look, again, the AirPods Pro is a really, really good product, okay? And I think that is the choice that I think just, by default, just like as you would do with Watch, that many iOS users are going to make.
Yeah.
Now, the engineering, everything on that product was stellar. They did amazing job in terms of setup, integration, all that stuff. But that being said, I was really impressed with what Huawei did with their FreeBuds Pro this year. I mean, these things are freaking amazing in terms of the technology that they packed into it, as well as their noise canceling performance. Now, you may have a problem finding them in North America.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get them.
So that is an issue, and that I think is the biggest travesty this year in terms of what should have consumers been able to get access to. We should have had access to Huawei stuff. It would have leveled the playing field in terms of competition and a lot of things. I think it would have driven the prices down of equipment across the board, especially on the Android side of things. May have applied some additional pressure to Apple to lower some of their prices a little bit. But again, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the whole industry's a cluster right now when it comes to international trade and China and their brands. I mean, I don't know what the hell to tell you.
That's putting it very nicely.
That we don't have access to.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. So obviously I'm going to pick AirPods Pro for iPhone users, but for everyone else or people who don't want to wear AirPods, I think that Samsung's Galaxy Buds Plus are the best you can get for Android personally. Long battery life, they sound good. They don't have active noise cancellation. That's okay with me. They still block out a lot of sound. I get a pretty good seal with them, so I don't have a lot of background noise and whatever else. And for me, they're pretty good and affordably priced. What do we have next on here, Jason? We have best smart speaker.
Smart speakers.
So we just did a show on me ditching Alexa, Amazon, and Google Home and all of those. So I can't really pick the HomePod because it wasn't released this year, and the HomePod Mini's not quite out yet. So I'm going to go with your pick on this one, which is
the Echo 4th generation. The Amazon Echo 4th generation, the latest Alexa.
So the Orb?
The big Orb, not the little Orb. Well, they're both Orbs.
Yeah.
The big Orb. Look, for $99, okay, its sound performance is outstanding. Okay, it has innovative new machine learning technology with that AZ1 machine learning chip that is going to significantly improve query time, and also for some really impressive new kinds of voice processing applications. Look, they don't exist yet, but we know the potential for that is there, right? You also have built into it the Zigbee, for home automation communications, and the sidewalk networking technology built into it, so that in terms of practical types of innovation, Amazon is absolutely top of its game. Look, this is the one category where I think that Apple got beat this year, for the most part, is for sure the intelligent speakers. Okay. Alexa, as a technology, is always improving, even for the older products. You can't beat Amazon in terms of what they've done with machine learning and cloud. Okay, that is their core talent, right? I think the HomePod Mini looks cute. The sound is probably decent for what the smaller drivers, than what the full-size Echo, 4th generation has for the same price point, right? Because the HomePod's $99, the little one's $99. The big one is $300, right? Yeah. So, I mean, if you compare them price to performance, Amazon really kind of kills Apple, in that space. Like I said, to get the equivalent dynamic range out of Apple and volume with a smart speaker, you have to spend $300 instead of $99. And look, Siri just ain't that bright. Okay.
Well, like we talked about, there's been some improvements.
We proved it, Jason.
We did prove it live on air. We proved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've tested the new Nest Audio speaker, or I've been testing it, and it sounds good. It's a good option if you're not in the Amazon Echo ecosystem. It's the next wave of products from Google as far as smart speakers go. Although I find Google Assistant very confusing to use. If I tell it to play music, something I do on my HomePod, the Nest Audio speaker plays one song and then stops every time. I want to listen to music for 4 or 5 hours when I tell my speaker to play music. So there's little hiccups like that I just are frustrating, incredibly frustrating for me, because I have to keep telling it play music or keep speaking to it, and it just Just not quite there yet for me personally, compared to the HomePod. I cannot wait to get the HomePod Mini in. It launches in a few weeks. So unfortunately, we can't include it as a best of this on this because we haven't tested it, and that's part of what this is all about. So that's the end of our list, but I'm wondering, do you have one more product you want to throw out?
One more product I would like to throw out. Look, I love the Chromecast. The Chromecast with Google TV. Look for what does that thing cost? Like $50 or something like that.
$50.
Yeah. It totally game changes your streaming experience for the better. If you have a streaming box that's a couple years old, it's definitely worth the $50 for the upgrade for sure. In terms of it, look, the user interface is really fast. The one thing I hate about a lot of these streaming boxes is how long it takes to jump between apps and switch between stuff. The Chromecast just blazes through, in terms of speed, in terms of user interface. There is still that issue with loading up each app every single time you have to jump through them. But look, for the most part, it's a very pleasurable experience. It is the best streaming box that is available for the money right now.
Yeah, at the $50 price point, it definitely is the best streaming box. I agree with you. And it has a remote, finally. Finally, Google added a remote, so I don't have to share my phone. For me, best streaming pick probably would be the Roku Ultra. They just recently updated it again. It's faster, has Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos this time, so it provides a better experience overall. And it's quick. It's very quick.
Is it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
That was my concern about them before.
But it's missing HBO Max, which I know is a huge sticking point for you. So
yeah, it has no that's right. It has no HBO Max.
Roku has no HBO Max. They added Peacock a few weeks ago, but they are still yet to strike a deal with HBO to get HBO Max on there, which is unfortunate because a lot of people are missing out on a lot of good content.
But Chromecast doesn't have Apple TV either, which is also a pain in the ass. So
yes.
It's one or the other. It's like you can't have all your cake and eat it too unless you have an Apple TV, basically. We don't know where that is yet. Yeah. Right?
Only Tim knows.
Right.
Tim Apple.
Right. Tim Apple.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to stop, Jason. I look forward to hearing or reading comments about what our viewers think the best products of 2020 are, and I'm really looking forward to 2021 and turning the corner on so many different levels. I'm Jason. I'm Jason Cipriani.
And I'm Jason Perlow.
And this is Jason Squared. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And make sure to check out more of our work at zdnet.com.